Okay guys, get ready for a whole lot of homeschool. If you are not interested in homeschooling, just skip on through. Okay, and for those of you who are interested in homeschooling, please just know that this is what has worked for my family, and for all I know, next week this won't work at all. But this is what I'm hoping will work, or that I'm motivated about, and I think that that's really important. Whatever is sparking an interest in you, or what you think your kids will like, look more into that, or just pursue those interests that you have, because if you're motivated and excited about it, I think your kids will see that and be excited too. So the state of Maine just requires you, if you're new to homeschool, to send in a Maine notice of intent. And basically you send that in, and then you spend the year teaching your kids, and then you send in a letter from a teacher, a Maine certified teacher, saying that you taught what you were supposed to teach. And on the actual Maine notice of intent to homeschool, it says what you need to teach. So English and language arts, math, science, social studies, physical education, health education, library skills, fine arts, and at least one grade from grade 6 to 12, you have to do Maine studies, and one grade from levels 7 to 12, you have to teach them proficiency in the use of computers. So basically, they're like, teach that stuff, but we're not going to tell you how you have to teach it, and you have a lot of liberty in how you want to do that. So there's a lot of different methods to homeschool. There's Charlotte Mason, classical, unschooling, unit studies, Montessori, eclectic. And you can choose what fits your family the best. So for us, we're actually a mix of all of that, especially depending on the subject. And for example, I follow a very Charlotte Mason style for history. We do a lot of read alouds that are living books, and the kids have to either narrate back or journal what they're learning. Whereas in math and language arts, I do more of a classical. So we follow a pretty detailed curriculum, and that's how I like to do it. For science, I feel like we're all over the place. I'll show you what we're going to be doing, or what I think we're going to be doing. But that's okay, because the Maine certified teacher will look over all of your work and basically write out a letter saying that you covered all the subjects that needed to be covered. So personally, because I don't follow an all-encompassing curriculum, I sort of cherry pick where I do my science, my history, my language arts, my math. I needed somewhere where I could keep track of what we did. And okay, so this is the spreadsheet that I created. This one's Addie's and Lily's is on the other side. I printed out a whole bunch of copies and just had them bound at Staples. So down the side here, I have all of the different subjects that need to be covered. And then I have the days of the week on top. I have little check boxes. Now, we absolutely do not do all of this in one day, but what it allows me to do is quickly, at the end of the school day, just quickly check off what we've done, write the lesson number that we did. Maybe we did a little unit study, or we, followed monarch butterflies. Maybe they read a book about George Washington. I could write that in. Basically, I just jot down what we did and where it would fit, because there's a lot of, cooking. Maybe she made pancakes. I just write in what we did. And what it does is it allows me a lot of freedom. Okay, I'm just going to quickly show you what we used for Addie. So for handwriting, we use the Good and the Beautiful handwriting. She's going to have to finish level 3, and I already have level 4 book, but that's what this looks like. So when she completes 1 or 2 pages, then I can check that off. So for me to be able to check off spelling, phonics, sight words, and the lesson number, we also use the Good and the Beautiful. And we did not finish her level 2 book last year. Level 2 does not necessarily correspond to 2nd grade. So we're just working through the book at her pace. The Good and the Beautiful language arts is phonics, reading, spelling, writing, grammar and punctuation, literature, poetry, memory and memorization, art, and geography. So it's a lot in one. It's amazing. So this is what a sample lesson might look like. This is lesson 76, comma in dates. It's open and go. It basically tells me what to read. So here, this day, she's gonna have to practice her sight words. So then at that point, I would check off, okay, she did sight words today. Otherwise, I go ahead and read what they asked me to read. She does the little exercise here. I read what I have to read. There's an independent practice page, so she does this on her own, and then I look over her work afterwards. I'm usually working with Lily at that point while she's working on this, and that's the lesson. And then the next day, this is a great example, geography. So this one might be a little bit more geography heavy, but she's still practicing her verbs and homophones and all of that. But at that point, I might write in here, okay, she learned about the compass rose. So yeah, we really love this curriculum, and Addie really likes it too. So after that, I have a section here where I have fine arts, music, and typing. These are not things that she does every single day, but if she practices the piano, or if we go see the Nutcracker, or if she's done an art class online or with a teacher, she can also go online and practice her typing. I'll just write that in here, just again to give me a good overview and make sure that there's no gaps. Okay, so the next one here is reading. So her goal is to read 20 minutes at least every day, and I would check it off, write how long she's read for and what book she's reading. I choose all of her books. I try to choose all of her books from the Good and the Beautiful book list, the same company as her language arts. This is a free resource online. They also have a reading assessment to find out what level your child's at. So she's a 2 moving into a 3. The reason why I choose these books is because I know that they have good morals, they have rich literature value and educational value, and there's no foul language, and they're just good books, so I don't have to pre-read them. I feel confident giving them to her to read. We're using the Good and the Beautiful again this year. We actually have to finish our level 2 before we move on to the awesome level 3. So this is basically what it would look like. Every day she has a daily dose. She has to finish this. It's just a review of what we've already covered. And then what I love the most about this curriculum, it's open and go. So I just open it up while I'm sitting there with her, and we read through it together. We do whatever it asks us to do. And then she does her student worksheet on her own, and then we review it together. So that's it. She has one sheet, and then that's the next lesson. So we have loved this curriculum. She has learned so much. It comes with an activity box. So it came looking like this with the parts in bags and some pop-outs. But I just transferred into a box like this, and it worked really well for us because I could take it out and she could do her activity, and then we put it back in, and it'll be great for future kids using this. So just really looked through it much, but it looks like it's very similar to Math 2, just as beautiful and engaging. So this is lesson 6, daily dose, open and go lessons. So very little prep for the parent, really fun independent activities, and then one student worksheet. So really, really fun. And then moving on to the next lesson. This is the Math 3 and 4 box. So you have an awesome math journal. I have to say, Addie was so excited to start this. And then all of the pieces to all of the activities. So we're so excited to start this year. These look like the games. So can't wait. So the next one I have here is physical education. So that can be anything from gymnastics to swim team to skiing with dad or a nature hike. Okay, so these group subjects are where things get a little hairy for me. So let's just talk about science, history, and then Bible. So this year is our first year using this curriculum. So I don't really have much to say on whether or not we love it or whatever, but I got it used. It's called Adventures in U.S. History by My Father's World. And basically it covers Bible, U.S. history and geography, and science. And it breaks it down for you. So it's already all there. But then in the past, for some reason, for science, I felt so restricted by stuff like that. Whereas in language arts, I loved that. It's like, tell me exactly what to do. So we're gonna see how I like this. But we also go on a lot of nature walks. So The Good and the Beautiful has a nature notebook that I get inspiration from. I also have the kids' nature book of indoor and outdoor activities. And I also just have a lot of fun books that are science related. So we have these books, some engineering activities, so some experiments. I have the science experiments one. So those books give us science, but they're not part of a curriculum. So that's why I like being able to record it in here, because I feel like we still did science, and I want to write it down somewhere. Okay, and then just to add to my science problems, I end up buying these awesome unit studies from The Good and the Beautiful. So this one's space science. I've never done any of these unit studies before, but these would be cool too. So health, cooking, and safety, that's not really part of, their curriculum necessarily. But we often do all of these things. And, in Girl Scouts, she made a first aid kit, so I'd write that down. If we went to the fire department and they learned how to deal with fires, I'd write that down. So this was just a space where if they went to the museum and learned how to cook something or whatever, I would just write that down. And that was kind of fun to keep track of. So if you notice for the requirements for Maine, they need library studies. So I would just put library skills. I had a little circle here. Every time we went to the library and they learned how to take out a book, or how the librarian sorts the books, or how to take care of a book. Okay guys, last but not least, I have read alouds down here. So every night when the boys are in their rooms, I'll sit in the girls' room and read to them for, 20, 30 minutes. And I'll also pick a book from the Good and the Beautiful list. And they suggest choosing a book that is 2 to 3 levels higher than your child's reading level, because they can understand more than what they can read. So she's level 2. Lily's like probably these beginner books, but she still understands level 4. So I was picking books from level 4, and they understood them and they loved them. And I really enjoyed them too. We finished in Grandma's Attic. So I just chose books from level 4, and I'd read that to them and write down what I read and how long.